most of the times, bankers are trying to pitch for an opportunity. So they need to understand a lot of times the sector very well before they really go and pitch for a particular opportunity. They need to understand the companies in that particular space very well. They need to, and when we say they need to understand the sector and the company, that means that they need to understand both the sides. That is, uh, you know, the business part of the analysis and the financial part of the analysis. Now, let's take an example of this particular situation where I need to understand a sector and a company very well. Now, I would say that, as far as business and economic knowledge goes, I don't think a CA or an engineer who has done some of the courses in basics of finance and business economics, etc. Nobody would be at a particular advantage vis-a-vis the other in terms of the basic analysis of the business and the sector, competitive analysis, etc. Where things might change probably is, just a deeper analysis of the balance sheet, profit and loss account, cash flow of the company. So basic financial statement analysis and the related commentary. Probably a chartered accountant could have an upper hand over, engineering graduate in that part of the work. So this was just one example where, I would say that wherever, as far as research part of it goes, there is no real difference. However, maybe when you go deeper into the financial part of it, yes, you may get a better output from a chartered accountant.
Right. So that is probably the only difference. That is one thing that uh, one like engineer should work as well.
Sure. So, before we go ahead, let me add to some of the points which form, the part of my answer to Monish's question. So, in investment banking, in addition to this first part, which is business and financial analysis, a lot of times then what one keeps on doing is, see, investment bankers are, what are they typically doing? So either bankers are raising funds for a particular entity. So these could be equity funds, these could be debt funds, these could be something else, or they could be working on the other side. So the first part which I'm talking about, that is called as sell side investment banking, and similarly there is buy side investment banking. So a situation where I am advising, let's say, a company to really go ahead and expand inorganically, so maybe by acquiring another company, or I am advising a company, or let's say a fund, to really pick up a small stake, in a company. So these are buy side type of mandates, whereas whenever I'm selling the equity or debt of a company, those are sell side mandates. Now, in both of these situations, there is a target and there is an acquirer. And a lot of times you need to analyze the target very, very, very well. So, in case of a sell side mandate, we are talking about a company who wants to sell its equity. So, in this situation, we need to really get a lot of details about this company so that it becomes saleable. So, for example, I would talk about what space or what sector this company is a part of, and what is the growth perspective on that particular space. Who are the competitors of this company? How this company has been doing, both business-wise and financially, over the last few years of its history. What lies in store for this company in terms of future growth, and ultimately, if an investor is investing in this company, what would be the returns that this particular investor would get. So to do all this, what do I need? I need to have knowledge of business per se, in the sense that I need to be able to analyze businesses, A. B, I need to be able to understand financial statements well, so financial analysis. And finally, C, I should be able to forecast the numbers of the company. So I should have a good understanding of maybe financial modeling, which comprises of Excel, and again, good understanding of financial statements and ratios, etc. So these are the three things. And then, like any other job, you need to be able to really communicate your proposition well and present it well. So, like a good hand on, like a good, soft skills, like your basic writing skills as well as your basic presentation skills, they are, uh, always going hand in hand with the technical skills that we just spoke about.
All right. So we have Abhimanyu Singh, whose question is he has completed his bachelor's in financial markets and he's preparing for GMAT. So he's also asking whether he should do his MS in finance right away or get some experience. And he's also trying to evaluate whether working now versus working later. I mean, what sort of work will he get, or what can he? I mean, is it maybe after the MS will he get better work, and should he start then, or should he start now and then? That's the question.
Uh, uh, I would suggest that after doing, I mean, the first bit, he's already a bachelor of financial markets, right? So he can definitely get started in terms of actual work, I would say. Probably targeting maybe a year and a half to 2 years, and actually target to get into MS in finance, maybe so that A, when he actually goes into a university, he has some work experience already, and his CV is or his profile is preferred over other graduates, maybe who could be freshers and straight out of college. So most business schools or I mean postgraduate schools, they would prefer someone coming into the campus than someone who's straight out of college. So getting into a better school, you need to build a portfolio, you need to probably work right now, and as you get into a good school, of course your chances of getting into a good job, they are just much better than they would be right now. So you look at your entry into a good school a couple of years down the line, to really shift, to a to a nicer job. So that's what
Right. Okay. So next we have Anish Pandey, and he's a little bit curious on the technical side. So this question is probably something you like. Very general question, but I think a lot of us face this. How can we predict the growth of a company? And I mean that's just what it is there on the question.
Oh, first of all, I would say that it's not a very generic question. It's a very specific question in terms of, and it probably tells me that he has already been trying his hand in investment banking. So let's come to the question, that is predicting the growth of the company. Now, there are two things, or there are two approaches. in which typically an analyst tries to solve this question, and those approaches are known as bottom-up approach. So they are saying that the company is a part of a sector, a larger sector which the company is servicing or addressing.